Hey out there, welcome back to another Loudhouse Critic Q&A. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time to discuss the topic most of you all probably don't want to hear, and I'm sure someone else has talked about this issue, but I feel the need I need to get this off my mind on this since it doesn't seem to be going away. So here's the question to everybody. What the hell is up with the Lincoln and Lynn love fanfic? Just so you know that this is from the episode Kick the Bucket List, and it was during one of the weaker scenes unless you're a Lynn fan. In the episode where Lincoln was making a sub and Lynn wanted to eat some as well. After Lincoln rejected Lynn's offer, she ended up eating under the half of the sandwich, and boom, this Mimi was born. A very brief moment involving Lincoln and Lynn eating the same sandwich together has caused fans to discuss this from both sides, the supporters of Lynn Lincoln and the people rejecting this shipping. Personally, I've never been able to see the appeal of this shipping, and I'm not looking forward at this through a romantic or sexually way. I mean, just as shipping two characters together as a duo, to me, Lincoln and Lynn have never been so good when paired up together. Oftentimes, things turn out worse. Usually Lincoln ends up beaten up or getting mocked from Lynn, while she ends up getting away without any freaking consequence or learning from her mistakes, whether it was Space Invaders or moments whenever Lincoln and Lynn are in the same room together. Somehow, situations involve Lynn embarrassing Lincoln, like pulling down his pants at the end of one of the boys, are meant to be funny, and I've never really seen a touching or sweet moment between these two, which is shocking considering all the fan art seemed to be making Lynn out to be a sweetheart toward Lincoln, which I find both hilarious and not believable at all. That Lynn is sweet towards Lincoln. I mean, she never has been. Closest I've ever seen Lynn ever be nice to Lincoln is in Dance Dance Revolution, when she got Lincoln a date, or at the end of No Such Luck when she apologized to Lincoln, although that tender moment is soon quickly shattered when Rita says that they sold all his stuff. Dumb bitch.
Not to mention a duck.
Otherwise, Lynn seems to use Lincoln more as a prop or a sport dummy whenever she needs to practice for her sports, and the two never seem to get good chemistry at all. So, now that I give my opinion on the shipping, why does it seem only to get bigger? Well, I have some possible reasons as why that is. Let's start this off with their similarities. The fans of the shipping think that Lincoln and Lynn are similar to each other, both in personality and appearances. Both are roughly the same height and both have freckles. Although Luna also has freckles, but I assume the fans didn't really care about that. They also are close in age, only about 2 years apart from each other. I really don't see this as a good reason to love this shipping. Just because they're the same height doesn't mean that they're automatically a shipping worth caring about. And also, Lincoln and Lynn are also into boy things, with Lynn being more into boy things than Lincoln. However, her tomboy's behavior is taken to unflattering points where she comes off obnoxious for being gross around Lincoln and bullying him. This is a better reason to believe why some people would ship these two together, but the problem comes with Lynn managed to look worse when she's around Lincoln. Her personality comes off unlikable since she usually messes with Lincoln and act like it's just her playing around with Lincoln, even if he comes out unhappy from the whole ordeal. They're polar opposites. While Lincoln and Lynn are similar in some ways, they're also opposite as well, using the old term of opposite attract. For this reasoning why fans ship these two together, but the only opposite I could come up with is that Lynn is just more gross than Lincoln, even though he also doesn't mind gross things that much, and that Lynn is more energetic than Lincoln. So I don't quite buy the two ship together, just because they're polar opposites, since they're not quite so different from each other. It's not like shipping Lincoln or Lucy, or at least Lincoln and Luna together, where it makes sense since they're very loud while he or she prefers to be quiet. This also ties into my other possible reasons why people are behind the shipping. Lynn mocks Lincoln. Okay, so now I know some of you will defend this statement and say that Lynn is Lincoln's sister, and it's typical for siblings to mock each other, but there's a limit to simply mock someone and then flat out insulting them for being below you. But I will say right now, I did mention this in my review in Space Invaders that the balls line wasn't funny to me. Well, sort of, it was. Well, kind of, since Lynn was really calling Lincoln a wimp, and then of course later in the episode where Lincoln finally tells Lynn off for being a bad roommate, she throws a meatball at Lincoln and acts like she deserved to do that. I can't see these two being shipped together because Lynn makes Lincoln feel worse as she insults and acts like she deserves to beat him up against his will. And yet somehow, this is all supposed to be done because someone finds it funny? It's not Luna and Lincoln or Luann and Lincoln who are opposites of one another, and both of them do things worse for one another from time to time, but there's still a mutual family love between the two, and both realize mistakes they've made in certain episodes they're in together. But with Lynn and Lincoln, it only seems like Lynn learns nothing, only coming the same she was before, while Lincoln suffers all the consequences for doing very little to nothing wrong. Personally, I find this to be an odd reason for this shipping. The writing staff. Oh hell yeah, I just went there. I believe the writers are aware of this shipping and only want to tease it in certain episodes just to justify the fans, or the Lynn army as I call them. Whether it be the sandwich scene from Kick the Bucket List or the photo of Lincoln and Little Lynn in the bathtub together in the whole picture, or everything in Space Invaders. They seem aware of this shipping. If I found out that this was true and the whole staff was in on it all along, I only have one question to them: how they write their characters. Whether Lincoln and one of his older sisters are paired up, usually those moments have nothing hinting at a possible attraction. It's always done in a way family would show love for each other, yet somehow, with Lynn, that's not even the case. And I'd be scared fucking shitless if a brother and sister were dating. Space Invader. So now that I tied everything up together with Space Invaders, this episode is probably the best reason as why the Lynn-Lincoln is a thing. Right when Lynn and Lincoln share the same bed together, everyone decides to ship these two together. First starting off innocent before going way overboard with artworks of these two together, which even after Space Invaders, I still didn't see why people love pairing these two siblings together. Space Invaders proved to me that Lynn is the most obnoxious and annoying sibling out of the entire family, and seeing her pair up with Lincoln, the main character, only sparkled trouble in my eyes. This is probably the most logic reason as to why these two are shipped together and why fans support this pairing so much. And personally, I'd be lying if I said I didn't see that coming after the episode. I hope I answered all your guys' questions about this shipping, because let me tell you, this was a lot to go through, even for me. Watching the episodes, researching, and holy shit, I can't believe this was actually happening. There was a time I used to have a video of Lynn and Lincoln just so I could fit in with everybody else on YouTube, because it had 1 million views onto it until sooner or later I deleted the entire video. But I managed to actually keep part of the actual clips I managed to save up for this review, because eventually I knew I was going to have to answer everybody's question to this one. It's just as bad as shipping Maggie and Luann, as much people are shipping Elsa and Jack Frost together. Jesus Christ, cut that out. Yeah, for my opinion, I really don't like this shipping of Lynn and Lincoln. Incest, it's much likely illegal, even where I live. So what are your guys' thoughts on all this? I'm glad I actually got all this off my chest, because let me tell you, it was no easy feat. I'm Taurean Smith-Partee, also known as the Loud House Critic, and I'll see you guys Thursdays at 1 o'clock.
You can't have fun.
You can't have none.
You can't have fun without the other. No, sir.